News 10 Today.
Good morning, everyone. We're getting right to it this morning with breaking news. Right now, crews are still on the scene of a house fire on Lansing's north side. News 10 will be inside the courtroom all week long for the sentencing of Larry Nassar. Our Clayton Cummins will once again be live tweeting from inside the hearing as it unfolds later this morning. We'll also be streaming portions of the hearing at WILX.com and the WILX app. We will not stream statements from survivors who wish to remain anonymous.
If you went to bed early last night, like us, you might have missed it.
Well, NASA has confirmed there it was.
Yeah.
That was indeed a meteor falling from the sky over Metro Detroit last night. Now, just to give you a perspective of just how many people saw and heard the bright light and loud explosion in the area, this is a live look at the International Meteor Organization's website. As you can see, there were several reports out of Metro Detroit, Mid and West Michigan, parts of Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, even as far away as Pittsburgh, who saw the strange incident. So let's bring in Weather Authority meteorologist Jim Holton now. And Jim, there's some new information you can.
There are just a few days left now to see The Lion King at the Wharton Center.
Yeah, this is a must-see show. It's filled with music, love, laughter, and one mean villain. In the final part of my special series, I talked to the actor who brings the character of Scar to life. And he tells me he is having a ball being bad to the bone. Where there is light, there must be dark. And that is where the character of Scar comes in on stage in The Lion King. And for actor Mark Campbell, being bad has never been so good.
There's something sort of serpentine about him, but it's to physically bring the sort of malevolence that he carries with him and the anger and the resentment is a challenge, and it's a fun challenge, I have to be honest.
Well, because every actor always say it's more fun to play the bad guy.
No
right?
question.
There are complicated physical challenges as well, bringing this character to life.
Lion King has some technical challenges that I've never experienced ever in my career because I have a full face of makeup.
Does he ever? Ashley Hughes is the makeup artist who transforms the performers. She helped me find my inner Scar.
And at certain points, the mask comes down. Julie Taymor, who created it, talks about the double event where the audience can see the puppet and the actor at the same time. But there are certain times when Scar is being particularly evil or particularly animalistic that I can bring the mask down and become entirely animalistic and bring his full malevolence to bear. And it can be really scary, honestly.
Almost as scary as my interpretation of the character. I just can't wait to be king.
Where did Kirk go?
Okay, The Lion King runs through Sunday. You can call 1-800-WHARTON. There are still some pretty good seats left.
Oh my gosh, you're almost unrecognizable there.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It took about 40 minutes to apply, took about 40 minutes to take off, and yeah, what artistry those folks have. So check it out if you can. A lot of fun.
From your breaking news and weather authority, you're watching News 10 Today.
We are tracking breaking news out of Texas, where the suspect believed to be behind a series of bombings is dead.
We want to show you live pictures of Round Rock, Texas, where police are giving an update to the media right now. Let's listen in.
Compliance with departmental policy. There will be a concurrent criminal investigation that will take place by the Texas Rangers of the incident that occurred here tonight.
Facebook has been making headlines lately, mostly for negative reasons related to misusing data.
But News 10's Kirk Montgomery found a local woman who says the social media site helped her thank a teacher she hasn't seen in decades.
In the frenzy to shame Facebook and its dark side recently, this is a simple story of what the social media site can do well: connect people.
He just checks in wherever he is.
Case in point, when Tara Collar of Grand Ledge noticed her retired high school choir teacher had just checked himself in near her to judge a choir competition, she jumped at the chance to say hello.
It was just one of those surreal moments.
It had been years since she had seen her mentor. She posted a photo and a tribute to the man that inspired her to pursue her own dream of teaching music.
And that was what shaped my career choice. I ended up going on and getting a degree in vocal ed and piano, and ended up teaching middle school choir for 6 years, and retired to stay home and raise my kids and teach piano.
As fate would have it, another former student eating lunch a few miles away saw her posting, dropped everything, and headed that way as well. Mr. Highland was the cool teacher with his long hair and hip style. He taught his young singers not only the classics, but rock and roll hits as well. Inspired by Tara's reunion, the other student arrived, and with literally only 3 minutes before judging began, he was able to look his former teacher in the eye after 38 years and say thank you. Thank you for offering encouragement during an often brutal and painful adolescence. Both savored that moment. I should know. I am that student.
But I truly believe that every student that ever had him, he was their favorite teacher.
Not everything about social media has to be corrupt. Sometimes it's just right. Oh, and thank a teacher today. They've earned it. Kirk Montgomery, News 10.
Great story, Kirk. Thank you. Yeah, Kirk and Tara's experience prompted them to form a private Facebook group dedicated to Mr. Highland. It now has thousands of members.
That's awesome. Now, if you have had an experience about reconnecting or Facebook helping you in a positive way, Kirk would love to hear your story. Reach out to him on his WILX Facebook page.
A man's quest to find love online ended with him contacting police. It sounds like something out of that movie Fatal Attraction. The Arizona man says he met 31-year-old Jacqueline Aids online and went on a date with her. But things escalated quickly, and police say Aids started texting the man constantly, sending more than 65,000 text messages. Some of the messages were threatening. Aids allegedly telling the man she would kill him if he left her and then bathe in his blood. She was arrested after she tried to break into the man's home with a large knife in her car. She spoke with reporters from jail, saying she was in love.
Felt like I met my soulmate and everything was just the way it was, and I thought we would just do what everybody else did and we would just like get married and everything would be fine, but that's not what happened.
She is currently being held without bond, and she's due in court next week.
Tough act to follow.
When you think of the automotive industry, obvious places come to mind like Detroit and, of course, Lansing.
You know, one man is out to change that and put the spotlight on another mid-Michigan city with a deep and rich automobile history. News 10's Kirk Montgomery shares his story.
Ted Odell's love of cars began at an early age. Here he is in his 1966 Mustang as a junior in high school. He still owns that car.
This is a 1913 Carter car.
And a few more.
The most interesting fact about this car.
He is a walking encyclopedia of all things cars, and he wants to bring a light to a piece of automotive history many don't know.
I'm trying to preserve, protect, and promote Jackson's automotive heritage.
That's right, Jackson's heritage. While today we usually think of the big three, it wasn't always that way. In fact, between 1894 and 1930, there was more than 1,800 automobile manufacturers in the United States.
The fascinating thing is, at the beginning of the 20th century, Jackson was mass producing 24 automobiles. 24 automobiles, makes, models, electric cars, combustible engine cars, cars without transmissions, cars that ran on a different system. It was just incredible. Amazing what went on here 100 years ago.
So the gears were set into motion for the Hackett Auto Museum.
Once the museum is open, it'll be sort of open air. So when you walk in, you'll be able to look and see the entire collection at one time. With the exception of, right behind me here, we'll build a facade of Henry Ford's Mack Avenue factory, which was his first plant in Detroit, first assembly plant. And the reason for that is because we have the original City of Detroit light pole that stood in front of that plant.
With the help of investors, grants, and private donations, this dilapidated building will soon become a museum filled with everything automobiles, many from his own collection over the years. Do you think the average person who lives in mid-Michigan has any idea of the history of the automobile here?
I don't think so, because in Michigan in general, when you talk about the car industry, it's always Detroit, Detroit, Detroit.
The museum will also be a venue available for private events. He hopes it will fuel interest in Jackson's role in the auto industry.
What we did is we put together a foundation called the Horace and Mabel Hackett Foundation, and the reason we call it the Hackett Foundation is because Hackett automobiles were made in this facility.
A vision that is ready to shift into high gear. Kirk Montgomery, News 10.
Now, the Hackett Auto Museum is scheduled to open up next spring. We'll show you around inside when that happens. We have some breaking.
Maine is not giving thanks for an uninvited guest that crashed their pad. Hannah Borden was home alone and heard a loud noise coming from upstairs. Well, a quick trip up the stairs is where she found a wild turkey that had crashed through a double-paned window. This feisty fowl was working the room, striking a pose and even giving a duck face in the mirror, ready for a selfie.
It spread its wings out and started grunting at me. I didn't even know turkeys could grunt. And then started jumping on my sister's bed and checking out the mirror.
The gobbler was eventually captured by police. Look at the picture, and police, and then released back out into the wild.